Getting ready for this tour was probably one of the most stressful things I've done in my career. I think because my drag was so inspired by that movie, I felt this like astronomical sense of pressure to really deliver and to really bring the movie to life in the best of my ability. And in doing that, I stressed myself out so bad that I was hospitalized for a couple of days, just less than a week before going live with the tour. Uh, I don't think I've ever mentioned that before.
Hello, this is Miss Fiercelicious with Queen Labs Network, and you're watching Drag Financial. Today's guest is a former contestant on season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race. This queen's polished looks and stamped mug left us gagging for more. She is unapologetic and not afraid to speak her mind, just like me. Give it up for friend of the show, the one and only FARRAH MOAN.
Hi, Fierce Delicious, by the way. I love you on Twitter.
Hi, Farrah. I'm obsessed with you. You're like literally my favorite. I was like, today while I was like putting my highlighter, I was like literally thinking of you. I didn't even know I didn't even know I was interviewing you today. I'm so excited. Hello, FARRAH MOAN. How are you doing today?
Hi, Fierce Delicious. I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Better now that I'm talking to the gorgeous beauty herself.
Oh, stop.
You're looking stunning today.
I just woke up.
Yeah, me too. So, what have you been up to since Drag Race?
Well, I mean, it's been so long. My season was filmed 7 or 8 years ago. Might be closer to 8 years ago. So, yeah, I've been a Drag Race girl longer than I was a drag queen before Drag Race. So I've gotten to tour the world and see countries I never thought I'd ever see. And there's been some ups and downs. I mean, it's not easy being a, washed up reality TV star. But I guess like as of late, I've just been recovering from the mental anguish of the pandemic and focusing on my sobriety.
That's amazing. Congrats. One thing you're known for is your gorgeous mug. How did it feel working with Manny MUA alongside Shea Coulee for the Lunar Beauty campaign?
Oh my God, that was a really special time in my career. I kind of had a little bit more time to do stuff like that here in Los Angeles. Because immediately after the season, it was like you just were home for 2 days a week. But that campaign was so fun. Shea Coulee is one of my closest friends. And so anytime we get to work together, we could be doing hard manual labor and we will have so much fun. Emmanuel Mue, he was so amazing to include me and Shea in his Life's a Drag palette, which is an amazing palette to this day. I still find myself reaching for the shimmery shades. He did recently relaunch it with a few additional shades, and it almost feels like the formula is even a little better. But Manny was so easy to work with. He paid us really well, and he's fun to be around. And I love his like vision for his brand. And me and Shea just had an absolute blast. I wish I would have gotten to know Alyssa Ashley, I think was her name. She was the other influencer there that day, but we didn't get to spend too much time with her, but I still follow her on TikTok and she's an amazing makeup artist. So it was really, really freaking cool. It was really cool. It was almost as cool as getting to do the Huda Beauty campaign with Shea Coulee, which I ended up seeing in a real Sephora store in Florida, which was crazy.
Speaking of your Huda Beauty campaign, how did it feel to be in such a big campaign?
Oh my gosh. So I don't think they actually originally wanted me for that Huda Beauty campaign. If I remember correctly, I think I was asked kind of last minute because somebody else canceled. I don't remember who, but I was happy to take it. And there is no shame in that. Um, and it was amazing. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I knew that we were doing a campaign for a setting spray, but when I got there, there was a literal gigantic life-size massive fucking setting spray that we all like got on top of like little witches on this like flying setting spray. It was very, very neat. Huda was so kind, and still to this day, like 4 or 5 years later, I'm still on her PR and I get almost all the makeup I use right now is Huda Beauty. Shout out to the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom pink setting powder. If you don't have this Fiercelicious, it'll change your life. You need
Uh-huh.
this.
I'm getting it ASAP. I want to like just like FARRAH MOAN.
I love, love, love all of Huda's products. I love her. Her sister is so amazing. Her sister actually has a fragrance line. This is actually her sister's hand cream. Smells so good. Love all of her perfumes. It was so fun. I had no idea because my agency kind of looks over the contracts. No idea that I was going to see myself in Sephora. And I remember I was there looking for, I think I was looking for my favorite YSL primer, which is also something you should look into. It's called the Touche Éclat Blur Primer by YSL. Very good. And I was like, can y'all show me where the Huda Beauty is? Because I wanted to find, I wanted to just grab a couple things. And there I was, and I dropped my shopping bags. And the sales associate was like, are you okay? And I was like, that's me. So I like had a little bit of an aneurysm in the Sephora store in Orlando, Florida. And that was really cool.
Oh, that's amazing. After working with Shay in the Lunar Beauty campaign, you also ended up in the Goose Island beer campaign. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I actually was not officially a part of that campaign. I just really loved this collab of Shay's, and she sent me a case of them, and she was like, encouraging all of her friends if we wanted to like do something. And I just loved the color scheme. It matched my All Stars 4 talent look. So I just did that for fun. My ex-boyfriend took that photo in my living room. And yeah, it was just because I love Shay.
You toured with All Stars winner Chad Michaels in a drag rendition of Burlesque, which originally starred Christina Aguilera. Can you let us know a little bit about that?
It all started when me and Chad Michaels were working together at Trax in Denver, which is I don't know if it's still around because I'm really out of the loop, but for a while she had a residency in Denver where she would go, I think once or twice a month and do a show there. And so I was working one night, and before I got there, Chad had hit me up and was like, if you have any costumes from the Burlesque movie, bring them and we'll do photos before the show. And I was just so excited. I was like, oh my God, yes. So I brought my But I'm a Good Girl look that I had made for a tour me and Derek Barry did year or so prior. Me and Derek Barry did a Britney versus Christina tour in Australia, which was really fun. So I had a couple of looks already done for that were inspired by the Burlesque movie. So I brought that costume, and me and Chad Michaels took a photo, and it kind of went semi-viral on Instagram, and it caught the attention of Andrew from Club Kids, and he got so inspired and wanted to immediately make a tour about it. So yeah, that's how it all got started. Getting ready for this tour was probably one of the most stressful things I've done in my career. I think because my drag was so inspired by that movie, I felt this like astronomical sense of pressure to really deliver and to really bring the movie to life in the best of my ability. And in doing that, I stressed myself out so bad that I was hospitalized for a couple of days, just less than a week before going live with the tour. I don't think I've ever mentioned that before because especially at the time, I didn't want people to like coddle me at the meet and greet and kind of like ignore Chad. So we just kept that under wraps. But yeah, I had to fly to London a month prior to the starting date of the tour because we were doing like 7 or 8 different production numbers that involved full choreo and dancers. And, it was a lot of work just on that end. But then, nothing could be easy for me. So I had designers not meeting their deadlines for looks and accessories and stuff for the tour. My hair guy that was doing all of the hair for the entire tour had started ghosting me and finally told me that he had some kind of really crazy dramatic story as to why he didn't have any of the hair done, but this was like 3 days before the tour started. So I ended up having a panic attack that was so bad that many medical professionals believe it might have been a minor stroke. So thank God I was able to find somebody in London to put together like 7 wigs in 2 days. And they got the job done, but they weren't perfect. So it was a really stressful event, but once the tour got started, it was so fun. I mean, I learned so much getting to work with Chad Michaels. Her and my Vegas drag mom used to tour together in La Cage in the 90s. So me and Chad had already been kind of pretty well familiar with each other by then. So yeah, we had a whole lot of fun. We went out to lovely dinners in all the different cities. And when Andrew from Club Kids wasn't feeding us, and
Yeah, I've been there.
we were in talks of bringing it to the United States. But I was not willing to accept Andrew's offer. So I kind of fucked that up. But I mean, I wasn't going to do that whole tour all over again for half of what I made in the UK when we had a theoretical bigger market here. So yeah, who knows? I mean, one day I would love to revive that. I mean, I haven't done any of the numbers at any nightclubs since that tour, just in case, something happens and there's a revive of wanting to bring me and Chad Michaels together again and we could perform it for the United States. But until then, those costumes will remain in their safe spot.
We have a video here that we want to get your reaction. Talk us through what you were feeling in this moment.
Uh-oh.
So this is what it looks like to have a televised Untucked.
Why did I say that?
I'm Christina. Nice to meet you. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful you look in person. Woo! Wow.
You look so perfect in your pink hair.
Oh, thank you. I was checking it out on you, and I was like, I have to come represent for the pink hair.
I can't believe I'm sitting with you.
Wow, look at your makeup. And you do it all yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Well, you know what's so funny? The first time I ever did my makeup myself, everyone told me I looked like Christina Aguilera. And it was really special because guess what number I was performing for my first performance?
What?
Genie in a Bottle.
Wow. You have a lot of fans. And when I found out about you and the whole comparison was, all the time they were like, oh, is Christina at the Met Gala? Is Christina at the Met Gala? And I was like, the Met Gala? Who is this?
You saw that?
Yes, and then my makeup artist showed me you, and you looked fabulous.
That's so awesome that you know that I exist. But thank you so much for being such an inspiration for me. I know a lot about your past and what you've kind of overcome in your childhood, and I have kind of like a similar moment. My childhood was really broken, and I think that's why I've always kind of resonated with you versus other pop stars that just seem to always have like a perfect life their whole life. And like you kind of came from a place where it was really hard for you and you overcame it with your talent and your music and your voice. And it means so much to me that I get to meet you right now. I can't even.
God.
I'm so glad. But also, thank you so much for all that you have inspired all the gay community and everything. I can't believe we're sitting here now. It's such a full circle moment. I can't believe it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for spreading the love and being an inspiration for so many people out there and so many people that need that in their lives as well, and giving them a sense of freedom and empowerment. So thank you so much for that. So beautiful to meet you.
Oh, you're so cute. What were you thinking in this moment?
Okay, I have some things to say about this moment because as special as it was very cruel and unusual for them to do that to me. So they would not tell me what I was there for. And I spent 6 hours sitting in a dressing room locked in there in full drag, full tuck, full corset, trapped in a dressing room for like 5-6 hours with no phone, no idea what was going on in the outside world, no idea why I was there. I remember like I was smoking cigarettes at the time, and I just like the whole time I just wanted a cigarette. I was like, what on earth did they have me here for? Like I was over it. I'd had it. But like obviously it was a really special thing that they had me there for. Little did I know. So when they brought me out to meet her, I was so shook that I took the biggest inhale, like I was actually so shook that my button popped off of my vest and flew, and my vest swung open like that. And like literally the most humiliating thing that ever happened to me. So Christina's kind of giggling and she's like, oh, can you imagine if that happened to me? So they had to escort me out, have someone on set fix my button, and then refilm me coming back in. And I had to act like I didn't know what the fuck just happened. So I was a little psychologically impaired for that by that point. And, you know, I would have loved if they could have maybe told me, just tell me that it's going to be Christina so I could be a little bit more mentally prepared for that, because I mean, that is like an extremely overwhelming experience for somebody to meet their idol like that. You know what I mean? But anyways, it was so sweet of them. I was so touched by it that I cried for weeks when I thought about it. It was really, 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 really sweet for them to include me in that and fly me out to meet her. And if I've ever said anything kind of snarky about World of Wonder on Twitter before in pandemic depression, just forget all of that because they're amazing. It was really cool.
I love that. I'm glad you had that experience. We also can't forget about the season 9 reunion. Can we talk about the atmosphere during the reunion?
Okay. Season 9 reunion. That was some good reality TV, huh?
You don't love me.
Let me hit my vape for that. Okay, so the atmosphere during the season 9 reunion was kind of heavy, like I'm not gonna lie. While we were actually filming, you know, the competition portion of season 9, we all got along pretty well. We all pretty much agreed with the eliminations and the girls that were in the bottom. Like everything just felt really fair, and like everyone kind of agreed to some degree that like when we went home, like it was our time to go. Like nobody had any harsh feelings about anything. And, you know, we all talked, and our friendships really developed once we came off of the show. And I think that's kind of where more of the drama came from, which was our relationships with each other post filming versus drama that actually occurred there, because there wasn't a exorbitant amount of drama on season 9. I mean, there was like, Eureka and Trinity, and then there was like Nina versus everybody, and then there was, but everything else seemed kind of, kumbaya-ish. But I mean, as a whole for season 9, there wasn't like an exorbitant amount of drama between us while filming. So I think a lot of the sort of emotions that had built up for the reunion all kind of had to do more with our conflicts post-show, which is kind of where my conflict with Valentina came from. I at that time in my life, I was feeling very slighted by her, and I felt very kind of like tossed away by her when we had developed such a strong friendship after filming. And like in hindsight, I think the mature adult person thing to do would have been to have this conversation with her, not during her miscongeniality moment. But I'm gonna
don't
tell
change
you,
a thing, girl.
those producers came to our hotel rooms and like went down the line with us, like, how has your friendship been with this person or that person? And is there anything that rubbed you the wrong way about what this person or this person did? And they kind of like pressured us to like monopolize on our like petty grievances with each other for entertainment. So at the end of the day, the season 9 finale or reunion was extremely entertaining, and I do still enjoy watching it. It's very good. From a humanity standpoint, though, do I have a little bit of regret for how things went down? Yeah, probably so. But yeah, the atmosphere was heavy. Round of applause for fan favorite was a little harsh.
More fan favorite. Farrah, you had a close relationship with Cynthia Lee Fontaine before Drag Race. Can you tell us how this friendship began?
Absolutely. I love that y'all are asking me this question because I felt like there was such an erasure of me and Cynthia's prior relationship pre-Drag Race. So I came up in the drag scene in Austin, Texas, and so naturally we worked together quite a bit, and I had quite a hard time getting along with a lot of the other queens in Austin. It just felt like they never really wanted me to succeed, and anytime I would like reach a milestone or reach I would get kind of a break and get something good, there was always someone in town that wanted to take it away from me. And it's to this day, I've still never quite experienced such a cutthroat drag scene as I experienced in Austin, Texas. But Cynthia was very different. She was a huge supporter of mine from the very moment that I came up in the scene. And eventually I was offered a show of my own at a Mexican restaurant called Maria's Taco Express in Austin, Texas. And she was gracious enough to star in my cast here and there whenever there was room, or whenever she had the time or space in her schedule to do so. And she was just always such a cheerleader of mine. And out of any other queen in Austin, Texas, I really felt like Cynthia was a safe place for me. So Cynthia was a safe place for me when I was coming up in the drag scene in Austin, and I did not expect her to see in the competition, let alone have to lip sync against her. So that was already a very difficult emotional situation that I had been in. Not to mention, I was also lip syncing for my life in an unbroken in pair of Christian Louboutin Pigalle that I had been standing in all day. I still to this day, the pain that my feet experienced that day, I've never felt it ever again, besides the second time I lip sync in a pair of unbroken Louboutins a few episodes later. Yeah, it was really intense. And then when they ended up sending Eureka home instead of one of us, I felt like what could only be compared to is like survivor's guilt in a way. Like I felt like it should have just been me or Cynthia. I felt like Eureka, you know, she had done well in her challenges despite her knee injury. I truly felt like she should have stayed. And it was so overwhelming. I was a little 22-year-old, just already so scared of production and being on TV, and everything was so intense. And I really broke down in that moment.
Can you tell us what was going through your mind while preparing your tape for the competition? What were the requirements?
When I did my audition tape for RuPaul's Drag Race season 9, I really did not have any expectations of getting casted. Of course, I thought it would be cool and it would be awesome if they casted me, but from what I had kind of gathered from other Ru girls that I was friends with, that I worked with in Vegas and stuff, I essentially just wanted production to know who I was and that I existed, and to keep an eye on me for future seasons. So me and my friend Magnus Hastings filmed that video in just a couple, like 3 or 4 days. And turns out they fucking casted me. So, but no, I just wanted to have fun in the video. I had to take all my drag from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, which was, I mean, a whole audition tape's worth of drag was a lot. It was a whole car full, and then taking it back was really a lot too. So my headspace was like, you know what? I want them to know that I exist. And if I make it, cool. If I don't make it, then season 10, here I come. But I guess they saw something in me when I told them that I didn't sew.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with our weekly content. And don't forget to hit the like button and leave us a comment below to let us know who you want to see next. And if you want early or exclusive content, make sure to support us here. Now click here to see the next part of our interview.